I've now talked to hundreds, maybe thousands of MAGA guys. They're not, forget the hosts. When I talk to the individuals, the actual voters, the base, they have no incentive to lie. Have you ever met a MAGA guy?
Yeah, I don't think they're lying. I just think it's been several years of MAGA saying we don't like these guys, so they're on board. But if that changes, they'll just change their minds.
No, they won't.
David Snakeman cannot wrap his stupid female brain around just the mere thought, the simple idea that people like Cenk might actually not hate all people who identify as MAGA. Wow, shocking, crazy revelation to David Snakeman. By the way, for the algorithm comment, David Snakeman, my favorite nickname for him, totally makes sense. And then also Chunky Yogurt, his expiration date. It helps boost the video in the algorithm. And while you're at it, like the video, subscribe. YouTube likes to censor channels like mine that don't go along with the main woke mainstream agenda. So help a girl out, and let's just get into it. I was looking forward to this, by the way, guys, because I've been covering Cenk and Anna Kasparian coming over, not necessarily on the right-wing side of things, but their willingness to not think all MAGA people are evil, vicious, deplorable pieces of garbage, and also perhaps working with Trump and Elon themselves, and people like David Snakeman literally have meltdowns over this mere notion. So let's just get straight into it.
At how they've changed. And one of the things that during your appearance with Charlie Kirk that got some attention and that you focused in on as well is, look, they're booing Mitch McConnell and they're booing Dick Cheney. That you wouldn't have seen that in the past. I'm skeptical about reading too much into that for the following reason. I don't think they have any real idea why they're booing or they're not booing. Or what I mean is the following. Trump and Charlie Kirk right now are benefiting from saying we're different from the establishment, we're different from McConnell and Cheney or whatever. If they do a 180 on that today, at next week's AmFest, Charlie Kirk just leads the crowd in a cheer of Mitch McConnell. We got him back, guys.
No, listen, they are different than people like the Cheneys and Mitch McConnell. This is the new Republican Party, and it's more of a populist right-wing movement, not so much the old neocon right. We are sick of it, and we are sick of the neocons, and neocon Liz Cheney showed her true colors when she endorsed Kamala the Ho Harris. Come on, says all you need to know. Am I right or am I freaking correct?
I don't think there's anything real about that. I think it's just something that they've decided we're going to say to create a distinction, whether there is a difference or not.
Okay, sorry to cut it off again already, but people are calling Cenk and Anna Kasparian grifters because they're changing their mind on the mere notion that all MAGA people, all MAGA voters are not awful pieces of garbage. Does that mean they're just doing that for their gain? Like, do you think that Cenk is being disingenuous, David Snakeman? I would love to know.
I'm worried about reading too much into they booed McConnell because next week they'll cheer him if someone says to Trump, now we cheer McConnell. You may agree, you may disagree. Let me then do the part 3 of kind of where my mind is on this. I would argue that whether or not they cheer McConnell or whatever, even if we agree about the problem, the risk of the populist rhetoric as a uniting force is that the solutions are different, even if we agree on the problem. So I'll give you an example. You, I, some of the people at AmFest, we're worried about the power of the establishment and elites, the recalcitrant centers of power that are corrupt, and we're sick of them and all of that. We would identify the problem with almost the exact same language that the crowd at AmFest would. The problem is when you say, okay, left-wing populist, what's your solution? We talk about social democracy, curbing corporate power, using regulations. They will still say the solution is tax cuts for the rich and corporations and all the same stuff. So my instinct is, and tell me if I'm wrong. I want to hear, I'm open to having my mind change. My thought is, even if we really were in agreement about the problem, once we get to solutions,
how long is David Snakeman going to talk? I mean, he's been going on this entire video. Are you going to let Chunky Yogurt speak yet? Come on, David Snakeman. What a snake slithering in the freaking woke grass. Ew.
We're not even at all on the same page.
No, I think you are wrong. And it's very understandable.
Me too. Hashtag me too.
What you're describing is exactly what's happened throughout history, right?
Okay.
So that's the media and political ecosystem that we all grew up in. So again, that's why I understand people's concern. Like, whoa, wait, no way. All the Republicans I've known my whole life are immovable, right? And all they're ever going to do is corporate tax cuts and tax cuts for the rich. So here's where it's really important to do nuance and understand the new landscape.
Okay, tell me.
So first of all, on Mitch McConnell and Dick Cheney, no, they loathe them. You guys are wrong in thinking that it's a trick. I've now talked to
So true, Cenk. Chunky yogurt. Maybe not so expired as we once thought. Yeah, like I said earlier in this video, the new right, we cannot stand the neocons at all. And they can't stand us too, quite frankly, which is why you saw them endorse Kamala.
hundreds, maybe thousands of MAGA guys. They're not, forget the hosts. When I talk to the individuals, the actual voters, the base, they have no incentive to lie. Have you ever met a MAGA guy?
Yeah. I don't think they're lying.
Have you? Have you, David Snakeman?
Just think it's been several years of MAGA saying we don't like these guys, so they're on board. But if that changes, they'll just change their minds.
No, they won't. So, let me explain why I think that they won't.
Okay.
So, look, in the beginning, it starts exactly as you're saying, David, which is Trump goes, I don't like Mitch McConnell for whatever crazy reason popped into his head at the time,
Yep.
and his wife is Coco Chow, and weirdo racist things against Elaine Chao, right?
Yep.
Now that I like Elaine Chao, I think she's terrible establishment figure, but you don't need to go racist on it.
Yeah,
So,
the problem isn't that she's Asian.
yeah, that's definitely not the problem, right? So, so I know where it started, and so you're not wrong about that. But now they genuinely hate the corruption, and they could explain. So when I say like, oh, Mitch McConnell, they don't. When I get into the longer discussions, Amfest was really tiny, right? When you get into a 3-hour conversation on Patrick Bet-David or Tim Pool show or whatever, they all go, no. I know he takes $1 billion from corporate donors and serves corporate donors. For the last 10, 20 years, as you know, definitely not 10, longer than 15, 20 years, David, as you know, my main thing is get money out of politics, end the corruption, bring back democracy. And so whenever I talk to Democrats and I told them, well, Nancy Pelosi taking $1 billion is also corruption, they go, no way, she's an angel and you're a monster for saying that. And whenever I went to talk to the right wing, they'd say, yeah, Pelosi's terrible, but Mitch McConnell's an angel and you're a monster for saying he isn't. Now, when I go to the right wing, they go, no, you're totally right. And it's not just because he's opposed to Trump. It's because of the money that he takes from this donor class. Okay. So, and Dick Cheney, they genuinely hate the wars. They don't want wars. I know that is so fundamentally different than the Republican Party we grew up with that loved wars, right? So now when you go to the Hegseths and the Stefaniks of the world, David, that's where you get into a really interesting dynamic. Now, in the beginning, Trump is not his base. Trump's not going to come out and go, oh my God, guys, I've seen the light, right? And I'm not going to serve Elon Musk or Miriam Adelson or Tim Mellon or any of these guys or the oil companies. No, what's he doing? He's saying drill, baby, drill, because the oil companies gave him a ton of money. He gave domestic policy to Elon Musk and foreign policy to Miriam Adelson. So why does Stefanik and Hegseth and all those guys, they're hardcore. Mike Wall's a giant neocon. Yes. Why are they in the Trump administration? Because Trump's doing what every politician does, kissing the ass of his donors, and that's how he's going to start. And if his base doesn't challenge him, that's how he's going to end.
Did the base challenge him last time? Like, what evidence do we have this time they'll challenge him?
So that's what I'm getting to. So, David, you're right. In the first term, which now was a long time.
And by the way, this is a very valid flaw within the MAGA movement, is there's a lot of people that claim that Trump can do no wrong. And if you ever disagree with anything he ever does, then you're a traitor rhino. Listen, I like Trump. I've liked Trump since before it was cool to like Trump back in 2016. However, he's still a human being. He's not Jesus Christ, and he has imperfections. And I think it's important that we hold politicians to a standard that really meets these principles that we actually agree with. So yes, there's things that I'm not going to be super excited about that Trump does. Like, he's very, pro-Israel. Okay, that's a problem. It's okay. I still can support the guy, but I don't necessarily support every single policy position that he holds. And by the way, there's just way too many people in the MAGA cult, which I hate talking badly about my own side. Actually, no, I don't. I do that so often, a little too often, to be quite honest with you guys. But you know what? I'm not a rhino just because I disagree with Trump sometimes, okay? He's just a human being, not Jesus Christ. We should be able to criticize him, and we can still support the guy, okay? Okay.
Time ago.
Yep.
The base didn't challenge him at all, okay? If Trump said something, they parroted it, and it was over, right?
Yep.
Now, when I go on those shows or I put on X, hey, you know that Rubio, Stefanik, Walz, and Huckabee are neocons, and they're going to try to drive you into war. Wall of thousands of comments. You're totally right. We're worried about it. We trust Trump. Let's see how it goes. But we got an eye out for it. Like they're
Yep.
totally aware that they're neocons and they don't like it. So Hegseth is a different animal because he's partly neocon and partly like meathead, and they like the aggro part of Hegseth and the military part.
Yep.
But they're not going to like the neocon part. And
True.
if I'm right about any of this,
Yeah.
True.
war is where it breaks.
Yep.
Where the base then says to Trump, "No, brother,
Which is such a valid policy position and issue to break from Trump on, is if he becomes too neocon, too getting involved in other countries' foreign affairs, which Trump has been the best about that, but still he could be better. Let's be for Rizzy here.
we told you anti-war. We didn't go tell you to
Yes.
help Israel invade Iran." No,
Yep.
I'm not even sure about this. And I think this is really, I don't know that this is an idea.
What is David Snakeman even sure about besides, never mind, I'm not going to say it. I'm trying to be better. Bye. Bye. Bye, bad thought, bye.
Theological disagreement. I just don't know that we're on agreement on the facts. I'll give you a counterexample to what you're talking about. Yesterday, Trump does this crazy press conference at Mar-a-Lago. During this press conference, it was like 30 minutes long, he suggested taking Greenland and the Panama Canal with military force, taking Canada with economic force, and unleashing hell on Gaza, or allowing hell to be unleashed. That doesn't sound very anti-war. And when you look on,
Honestly, David Snakeman, I kind of see his point here for sure.
the truth socials and everywhere else, it's people defending it, memes about all of the Americas in an American flag. They kind of seem to be just lining up behind whatever he says. I just am not seeing what you're saying.
So yeah, I'm going to cut it off right there. But David Snakeman does have a point. I mean, you're really anti-war and an anti-getting involved in other nations' issues. Should we be trying to purchase more land? I don't know. I haven't looked into the issue enough, to be honest with you guys. I'm never going to pretend like I know everything. I don't, okay? I know how to feed my husband and daughter and take care of the house, okay? I'm guilty as charged, but yeah. I think we should just focus on the current America that we have, but maybe I'll change my mind. I don't know. Stay tuned. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you subscribe, like. It really does help the video out. And if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. Gracias. Make sure you comment an orange heart. It really does help boost the video in the algorithm. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios. Greenland. Bye.